I believe that our differences can often make us stronger. And when we put aside our egos and focus on the mission, it's amazing what we can accomplish. At any time, I didn't join the military to be a minority. I joined the Army to be part of a team.
That was retired Army veteran Delphine Metcalf-Foster after she was elected to lead Disabled Americans Veterans as its national commander during their convention in New Orleans yesterday. Metcalf-Foster becomes the first woman and African American to hold the post in an organization that represents 1.3 million disabled veterans. Her military career spanned 21 years and included service with the United States Army Reserve's 689th Quartermaster Unit and Letterman Army Medical Center. She served in Operations Desert Storm and Desert Shield and retired in 1996 with the rank of First Sergeant. Joining us by Skype from New Orleans is newly elected National Commander of the Disabled American Veterans, Delphine Metcalf-Foster. Thank you so much for your time and for your service. Let's get started. How does it feel to be a first African-American woman commander of a major veteran service organization?
Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here this morning, and it feels great to be here serving my country, serving my DAV, continuing my mission, and that has always been my mission. As I stated, I don't take it for gender or race. I am here as a team. I've always been here as a team, and I want to continue my work. It's an honor.
What are the priorities for your team in addressing the needs of the disabled veterans of America?
Yes, my priorities is our caregivers, which, as you know now, is just for post 9/11. It needs to be for pre 9/11 also. We all need to have the services that we deserve.
Is there any historical significance to you about your election as an African American, as a woman? You spoke about wanting to be a part of the team, but undoubtedly the symbolism has to be impactful.
Well, I want all of us, whether it's male or female, to know that no matter what, as I stated before, our gender or race, we can be part of the team and make things happen.
You mentioned about caring for folks that they're injured or had issues pre 9/11. Many Americans don't know that there are so many still from World War II, the Korean conflict, and the Gulf Wars who are still struggling. What is it that you all be doing to address this?
Our organization is going to our elected officials. We're advocates. We're advocates making sure that they are keeping the promises of the men and women that have served with respect and dignity.
PTSD has been a very hot topic that many are talking about for our service women and men in the wake of many of our conflicts that we're engaged in right now. How is it that your organization addresses something that's from the neck up and doesn't manifest itself physically in the same way?
Our organization addresses this issue in various ways. One of the main ways is the VA. The VA has been on front with our PTS issues from day one.
You mentioned the VA. From a veteran's perspective,
Yes.
What did you see or think about the healthcare debate that unfolded here in Capitol Hill not long ago?
Well, I do feel that they should have more input for the VA system, and when I say that, funding for our VA system, because I do feel like in the long run a lot of our veterans might lose their health care in other organizations, and the VA should be there for us. So I think to have our budget where we can help all veterans is so important.
If we have a loved one, family member of some sort who is a disabled American veteran, where should we go to seek help for them?
You should go on our website, which is dav.org.
Her name is Delphine Metcalf-Foster, and she is the new commander of the Disabled American Veterans. Thank you so much for your service, and most importantly for your time this morning.
Thank you for the time.
Let's go to our panel. Liz Copeland, Greg Carr, and Tiffany Cross. So many Americans struggle with issues coming back and return after serving in armed forces, particularly black Americans who, if we remember 1944, they had the double V campaign, victory abroad, victory at home. What are some things that we can do to better attend to the needs of our service women and men? Tiffany?
Well, first I just want to say I'm very proud of Delphine Metcalf-Foster, and it's warming to the heart to see that often when people think of people of color in leadership positions, they think that they only can advocate on issues that are relating to people of color. But, you know, as we know, people of color have seats at the table in defense and telecom and healthcare, et cetera. So it's excellent to see her there. I think that we do a horrible job. We do a great job of recruiting people of color to our military and people in general to our military, but a horrible job of the support that we offer them after they've serviced this country. So definitely mental health issues, healthcare. We've seen what happens at the VA after these people come back from defending our freedom and our country abroad, and they come back with no health care, a lot of homeless and mental illness that we see prevalent in the community. So I really wish her luck as she attempts to address some of those problems.
Liz, Sergeant Metcalf-Foster was a little shy and unwilling to really pat herself on the back for the monumental accomplishment of being an African-American woman at the head of Disabled American Veterans. Does it have any significance or symbolism to you as a black woman?
Absolutely. Tiffany spoke to that. I mean, I'm just so proud. But I like the fact that she's like, I'm here to join my team members. I'm here to serve and finish the mission. And she's not making it about her gender. She's not making it about her race. But to your earlier question about what we can do, what we should do, we need to follow the money. We need to make sure that our governments, you know, state and federally, are providing the financial resources to our veterans when they return. And if we don't voice, you know, whether you're in the military or you're part of a military family or not, we need to make sure that our tax dollars are going to support them.
Dr. Carr, you're a professor of Africana Studies. Many black Americans make sense of being a black American in a number of different ways. One of those ways is by full-on patriotism and service to a nation they feel as though owe them a great deal. What does it mean, and how do you express to your students when you see those black Americans like Sergeant Foster who just do this work in this way?
Well, I think students and everyone else have to understand that when we say we're being patriotic, it isn't in service of blind loyalty to a piece of paper or flag. We are loyal to a principle, to an idea, and the country has often had to catch up with us. You know, when we look at this system, when we look at Metcalf-Foster, you know, the first woman of any background to direct troops in battle, even though she wasn't a formal member of the military, was Harriet Tubman, right here on the eastern shore of Maryland. So she's following in a tradition, and blood sacrifice has been the main reason in terms of black service in the American military that we then come back, as you say, with the double V, the Pittsburgh Courier. I mean, now we're going to have these rights because we have spilt blood. And at the end of the day, the poor fight wars that the rich won't fight. And at that point, disabled American veterans deserve everything their sacrifice has earned them. Not only respect, but treatment, well treatment. They need to be integrated, whether it be jobs. And if the country isn't going to do it while we fight, as Liz said, as we fight for these rights, then we have to, in our communities, embrace them. They didn't sacrifice for America as an abstract. They sacrificed for us.
I think it's also interesting, though, about the conversation about African Americans actually joining and enlisting. And is there really a push or support from the community at the onset? I mean, you see her now at the end of her career, at another chapter towards the end of her career. But where are we as African Americans supporting the decision to enlist? Based on what you said, fighting for principles and not necessarily a person that's leading, you know, the armed forces.
I don't support joining the military off this general principle of, you know, patriotism. I do, however, look at it as an opportunity to become educated. A lot of our young people join the military because they're looking for a way to get an education, to get good jobs afterward. And this sister was 34 years old when she joined. I mean, you know, she went back. In fact, she and her daughter, I think, started at the same time, right? The daughter washed out and she kept going. I mean, but think about a black woman, you know, think about a black woman who is married with children, who then decides, I'm going to go into the military service. That's a complicated decision. I mean, all the more respect for her and to black women generally, because we know in this society, you know, I don't want to make this into a gender thing too much, but we must always recognize that black women have consistently stepped up since the first one got off that boat.
Soldiers on the front line.
No question about it. I mean, shoulder to shoulder with brothers, shoulder to shoulders with black men, but very specifically, black women have had to do some things that white women or no one else really have had to do. And this is just another example of the brilliance of black women. I trust her to advocate for those veterans before just about anybody else I can imagine.
And it's no better place than this platform that Roland has convened for us to say thank you to those black women.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV 1.